And welcome everyone to our weekly chat here on March Madness and NCAA.com. I'm Andy Katz. It's time to break down the AP poll and the Power 36. Also take some of your questions here on a Monday afternoon. First off, you can find online our latest bracket post-Super Bowl. Not a lot of changes at the top since our last bracket. The back part of the bracket, maybe the biggest change, is that the reigning national champ, Virginia Cavaliers, are now in the bracket in Dayton in the first four. Home win over Florida State got Virginia in across that threshold. Want to see if the Cavaliers certainly could do that, and they did. Now, if they keep winning, they can stay in the bracket, be back in the NCAA tournament. I think ultimately that's probably what will happen, and we will get all four Final Four teams from last season back in the NCAA tournament. All right, looking at the AP poll and Power 36. A lot of similarities at the top. The biggest difference between my Power 36 and the AP poll is LSU. I got LSU in the top 10. AP has not bought into LSU. They got them in the back part of the teens. This is a big week. LSU goes to Auburn on the weekend. You'll hear my prediction, see it online. If LSU beats Auburn, maybe the AP poll voters will get on board with the Tigers. You could make the argument they haven't played as strong an SEC schedule so far, but this team keeps winning. And in a season where teams are losing a lot that are ranked, I thought it was worth to give LSU the nod here. And remember, polls and rankings are snapshots of how teams are playing right now. Brackets, seedings are body of work. Great example would be Ohio State. Great non-conference. And worthy of being in the NCAA tournament, not worthy of being ranked. Yes, they knocked off Indiana, but not worthy of being ranked yet. So good example with Ohio State. Middle part of this is where I want to draw some comparisons here. Tulsa. Tulsa's top of the American Athletic Conference. They've beaten every other top team, Houston, Memphis, Wichita, except for Cincinnati. Cincinnati's the one school that beat them. So I'm ranking them 23, not ranked in the AP poll. Rhode Island, and I heard from some people, how can Rhode Island be ahead of some of these other schools? Rhode Island's playing great. They're on a great roll. They knocked off ECU. This is an eye test thing. I have seen them in person. I've watched them. Fats Russell, one of the best guards, not just in the A-10, but one of the better guards in the country. So they deserve to be ranked. They're playing great. Michigan, I saw them in person. Held off a very good Rutgers team. Not healthy. Isaiah Livers still out. Brandon Johns delivered. And he was big for them. So I'm still high on them. You know, it's interesting with Butler hanging around the teens. I dropped Butler deep in my Power 36, losing at home to Providence. They got a big game coming up against Villanova. Rutgers immediately went out of the poll. I kept them in my Power 36. I'm high on Cincinnati right now, right there with Tulsa. I know the Houston fans have already gone on me about dropping them out of the Power 36. They're still ranked. Fair. You can criticize me on that. Mississippi State, want to get on board with them. Reggie Perry's having a great season, and they're winning games. Wichita State, I didn't give up on because it was a buzzer beater by Tulsa that beat them. And St. Mary's and BYU. Great game, late Saturday night, won by TJ Haws three-pointer on the last possession for the Cougs. And St. Mary's should not be faulted and thrown out of my power rankings because they lost a road game at the buzzer. Two very good teams that can win games, can win games in the NCAA tournament. Another school here, Creighton, I got them at 21. They're our team of the week at March Madness. Nowhere to be found. Oh, excuse me. Look at that. Whoa, excuse me. 21-21, 21-21. All right, fair enough. They're both at 21, so we think alike in that one. I'm just trying to think here. Illinois and Iowa, similar groupings here. Arizona, I'm a little high on. They got a road sweep. Just trying to look here back and forth. Wisconsin, I have them at 28 after they beat Michigan State. And it's probably the last sort of big difference here between the two. I'm a little higher in Kentucky, than the AP poll. Villanova, looks like they didn't get penalized at all by the AP poll after losing at home to Creighton. I did penalize them and drop them for that loss. And Florida State, I penalized a little for the Virginia loss. Other than that, we're very close. I mean, the biggest difference here is I'm high on LSU. No one else seems to be. All right, let's go take some questions here for a few minutes. Hayden Beal, is Indiana making the big dance? And yes, check our bracket right now. Indiana is in. Anthony Westbrook, no love for Arkansas. Arkansas is in the bracket. Check the bracket. Cliff McCormick, will Maryland keep up the momentum? I say yes, although they're at Illinois later this week. You'll see my pick on whether or not that's going to happen. Let's see. Stephen Decker, is this week rivalry week? Well, Duke Carolina is happening on the weekend. By the way, I don't remember a time where you didn't feel the rivalry Duke Carolina as little as you do this week. Cole Anthony back and you still don't feel it. Crazy. Anthony, don't sleep on Arkansas against Auburn tomorrow night. Check my picks. I'm not sleeping on it. See my picks. They'll be coming out tomorrow on the pod. Okay? March Madness 365. I don't want to give everything away here. Let's see. Bryce, how far will Penn State go? I think they can win 2 games as long as their guard play stays steady because Lamar Stevens is a force inside. Shane, do I think Texas Tech is a first 4 out team? Right now I got Texas Tech just on the inside there. Hayden asks again, but I want this question. Don't want to always take Hayden. But is Carolina's hopes gone? I think they got to win the ACC tournament. Sweep of Duke would be great, but I still think they got to win the ACC tournament right now. Thoughts on the Dayton Flyers? Rita Reinhardt. Rita, Dayton is a 2 seed in our bracket. And what if Dayton runs the rest of the table? They could be pushing for a 1 if Gonzaga or San Diego State were to slide down. Zeter, I don't want to butcher your last name here. Zeter says, is Fats Russell a top 5 point guard? I got to think about that. He's definitely a top 10 point guard. Amanda Moody, will San Diego State, not San Diego, don't make the mistake, it's San Diego State. It's like New Mexico and New Mexico State. USD is San Diego. Will they lose this season? Here's what I say on the Aztecs. I say they win the regular season, outright, undefeated, Mountain West Conference. I think they'll lose in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Bid stealer, could be UNLV, could be Utah State, maybe Boise. Someone could end up getting them. Bailey Dennis, did we talk Virginia yet? Well, Virginia, I think I mentioned at the beginning, they're in our bracket. Big win over Florida State. Right now, they are the 4th team I have in from the ACC, but that's it. NC State, bad week. Syracuse loses to Duke. All these teams can play their way back up, but right now, Virginia Tech has slid. Clemson has slid. I got 4. 4 teams from the ACC. It's that kind of year. Jeremy, is West Virginia better than the Final Four team of 2010? I say no, but this team's very good and definitely a second weekend team. Kevin Vernon, is Duke going 2-0 this week? Well, I'll be at the Duke BC game Tuesday. We'll see if they go 1-0. I say they will beat BC and beat Carolina. 2 road games. Carlos, can VCU do any damage or will they be one and done in the tournament? If they go in healthy, that was the problem last year. They didn't go in healthy. So I will say probably one and done. Jeff, what's your thoughts on Louisville winning the ACC? Jeff Balbuck. Well, I originally had Florida State. I had Louisville. Then I went Florida State. Then I went Duke. Right now, I'm going to settle back with Louisville. I think Louisville will win the ACC, which is what I originally predicted. Matthew Sandiford, what Power 5 conference will flop in March? Well, I think Big 12 could certainly get to Atlanta. ACC could get to Atlanta. I guess I would say right now, I don't envision a Pac-12 team getting to Atlanta. And I really still only believe Kentucky is the one team in the SEC that can get there. So maybe one of those two. Nick Hankey, Illinois or Iowa long term? Who am I betting on here? I would say, not betting, excuse me. Who am I banking on? Because I'm not betting. I like Illinois long term. Iowa's doing great. Luka Garza right now is probably the National Player of the Year. But Illinois is probably the team that I think has the most balance of the two. I love their pieces. Big time late game shot maker and Ayo Desunu. So I would go Illinois in that comparison. Jason Price, can Northern Iowa make the Valley 2-bid league? No, but Northern Iowa would be my pick right now to come out of the Valley. Matt Lee, what does Purdue need to get in? Win. Purdue and Minnesota, the two Big Ten teams for me right now that are on the outside looking in. Purdue needs to keep winning. Richard, who's going to win the American Conference? Boy, right now it looks like Tulsa. Cincinnati's right there. But I still feel like Wichita State is the team that ultimately will win the league. Originally, obviously, I had Memphis. Douglas wants to know who I'm going to pick to win the national championship. I don't know. That's a hard call right now. I could go Kansas. I could go Louisville. Duke certainly could win it. I think there are three teams in the Big Ten: Michigan State, Maryland, and Illinois. Gonzaga certainly could. Baylor could. I wouldn't rule out Kentucky. I think it comes from that group. How could I admit Derek Culver from my top 10 sophomore rankings? You're laughing out loud, John Dean. That's a fair argument, fair pushback. There was plenty of criticism for some of the ones that I did not have. All right. Will Texas get in? They're right there in the bubble. Last four out. Let's say. Oh, Anthony wants me to come to Fayetteville tomorrow. I can't make it tomorrow. But yes, that would have been a great matchup. All right, let's take one or two more here. Can Kansas win the championship, Ron Petrie? Yes, of course they can. They got the pieces. And let's take one more. Here we go. My opinion, I already mentioned Indiana. Let's see here. All right, last one from Justin. Who will win the Big Ten regular season title? I just don't feel straying from Michigan State. But, with Illinois playing Michigan State at home, I hope this is not a cop-out. I'm going to go Michigan State will get at least a piece, but I could definitely see Michigan State and Illinois sharing it. Now, Michigan State still has to play Maryland twice, but Maryland has to go to Illinois, and so does Michigan State. So maybe we'll have a three-way tie. And I will say this. How about this? I'll end it here. I think it will be a shared championship. That's what I do believe. And maybe that's a cop-out, but they all play each other. And I don't think there will be a clear winner. So I'm going to go shared championship in the Big Ten in some form with those three. All right. Plenty of content on NCAA.com, March Madness, on our Twitter, Facebook. Keep checking it out. We got March Madness 365 coming out on Tuesday. Joel Lenardi and I break down the bracket. Juwan Howard from Michigan joins me. Chris Mack from Louisville. Check it all out. You got my Katz ranks, most balanced teams in the country right now. A lot of people are going to debate on that list. And predictions for this upcoming week. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for digesting and debating all our content.